guys, it's Brooke Eagle, and we are back with another episode of the Forsyth Magazines podcast. And today I have Catie Jarvis with Catie Does Cabinets. What's up, Catie?
How are you, Brooke? Nice to finally meet you.
I know. It's one of those stories where we've been like social media acquaintances for like years probably. And I'm like, oh, now I get to meet her in real life.
Finally get to meet.
It's always funny when you see somebody for the first time in real life. You're like, wait, have we really not met in real life? Or like,
and we
never
have
know.
a lot of mutual friends and people we know. So
Maddie, right?
Maddie.
I met Maddie in person also for the first time a couple weeks ago.
And then I've known Gavin for half my life from growing up playing sports.
Oh, bless your heart.
So, no, he's always been nice. I have nothing but good things to say.
So, Catie, I am so excited to talk about you and your story and your amazing business that you created. So when did you officially start your business?
So I went into business for myself this year. So I've been in the cabinetry world since 2019, but kind of just decided this year to go out on my own and make it official and just hit the ground running ever since. So.
A big scary leap, but you did it.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about how that process got started and what made you decide to make that jump.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started out with a good friend of mine about 5 years ago and was with him kind of when he got up and going and was able to see the success of his business and, you know, as an employee of his business. But I never had a background or any kind of like knowledge or expertise in any woodworking, any refinishing. I actually had just come back from, I almost lost my life in a car accident, and I just decided to do something different and got into doing that and kind of fell in love with, I think more so than what I fell in love with, like making people happy. Like, you know, coming in, they had a vision and fulfilling that vision and just seeing like the look on someone's face with the final reveal, like when you're hanging the cabinet doors and you refinish their kitchen and they're just absolutely taken back. I think that was very satisfying to me. And so years of blood, sweat, and tears. And then I just decided this year, I thought it was a good idea to try it for myself. And so I took a little break from it last year and honestly got into a kind of tough place in my life. And then the beginning of this year, I did a kitchen for a family. They're like my surrogate parents, and I did their kitchen. And then I was like, you know what? Like, I think I'm just going to go on Facebook and tell everybody that I'm back in the cabinetry world and see if I get any hits. And like 15 or 20 people shared my post and all these pictures. And it really was from that day, like I hit the ground running. Like it wasn't even,
I'm super planned or thought out. You're just like, let's see how this goes.
Honestly, absolutely not. Like none of it was really planned. It wasn't like, hey, Catie Does Cabinets is going to be a thing. I just was like, I'm competent in this. I know how to do the work. I didn't know the business ownership side of the things, but I knew how to do it.
You got to just learn that as you go.
Right. And I'm learning every day. Yeah. But I knew how to do the work, so I was like, all right, well, let's see. And then it was just like, wow, I've been blessed with so referrals and just word of mouth. Like,
I think it's pretty cool that you're a female doing this. Like for me personally, if I'm just also a female, so I'm biased, but I would much rather call you to come do my cabinets because I'm like, that's pretty freaking cool that she's a woman and she's doing this.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people know too, and I don't mean to be biased when I say this, but a lot of times females have more attention to detail in certain things. So, and I think women and men, we all have our strengths in certain areas. And I've learned so much from a lot of men in this industry. And I think the biggest thing is just being humble enough to, like, I'm always in the position where I want to learn and grow. And I know that I might not know a lot, but hey, reach out to someone that does know. And I've had years of experience now, but I think when I go into homes and meet with homeowners, like they trust me. And I think that's the biggest thing when doing business. If someone trusts you and they know that like you mean what you say.
You have
like
their best interest.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people, where I've gotten a lot of my business is just from creating that trust within meeting the homeowners for the first time and And then, like,
absolutely. Business is relationships.
Right. And I'm glad they trust me, but it's like, I also want you to trust that I'm going to do a good job, because that's the biggest thing, is just maintaining a reputation of excellence in the industry. And I'm very big on that. So it's important to me.
So my question is, do you actually do your own cabinetry, or do you use distributors?
No, I have distributors sometimes for like building doors. I have a family-owned company locally that I use to, like, when we're doing refacing, building new doors and drawers. But, like, I actually do all the refinishing and that whole process. And the thing, like, with my process is there's a lot of people out there that might paint cabinets, you know, whether they brush them or roll them. There aren't as many people that do the process that I do, which is really like a 7-step process. And from the time the doors are, like, taken down from a job to put back up, I mean, it's degreasing and then wiping them down with denatured alcohol, then sanding them, then spray finishing prime, then filling them, sanding again, priming again, sanding again. I mean, so there's a very detailed process.
Yeah, people that try to do that themselves, I'm like, more power to you, but I would never.
Right. It's a lot of work, but I think that's to kind of, I've thought about ways to almost, I don't want to say speed up the process, but really at the end of the day, like, the way I do my business and the process that I take, I think is what creates that kind of flawless, smooth finish that I always want to have, and I think that customers really appreciate. So
yeah. So Catie, do you think that when you got in the car accident that you almost did not survive, do you think that motivated you in any way to start this business or to go out on your own?
Yeah. Well, I think what more so happened at that time was I just developed a different appreciation towards life in general. Yeah. And I think, like, I have a pretty strong mindset, and I'm willing to push myself, I think, to the limits that not a lot of people would, if, like, physically outside of work. And I think a big part of, like, a lot of the training that I do and things like that, it kind of prepares me. Like, if I can go and, which I'm doing right now in 3 weeks, I have an ultra marathon coming up. And if I can run 40 miles at one time, like, there's no problem in business that I can't overcome. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, girl, that's insane. 40 miles?
Yeah.
Wow, because I know you do a lot of biking too.
I do. I love cycling. I love cycling.
You run, you bike. Do you do any swimming?
No, I'm a dual athlete right now. I'm not a triathlete. I'm a dual athlete, but yeah, I think a lot of that, though, plays into business, because how you do anything is kind of how you do everything. And
I agree. It's building that mental toughness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just, like, what you're willing to endure. So I know if I can, like, wake up and run 40 miles, like I said, there's probably not a problem or a solution I can't find in the cabinetry world. You know, if I run across a problem, hey,
that seems minimal compared.
Right, exactly. So,
well, and I'm sure you are. I can't even imagine, because I've never been through a life near-death experience, but it does make you feel that much more grateful that your body is able to run 40 miles.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think just it's almost like, to me, a shame to not see what you are physically capable of. Yeah. And it teaches you so much about your character too, and just your mental strength. And so I think it's just all there's a big part of me that, you know, I just want to inspire other people to, you really are, like, you're capable of anything. It's just like what you're willing to believe. Like, your only limitations is your mindset. Mm-hmm. And I think that goes with, like, my business too, is, like, I'm not so, like, I'm enjoying the process of being a business owner. I'm not so super focused on, like, hey, I want to just be huge and large and take over the triad. Like, maybe one day that'll happen, but I think right now I'm learning so much, and I've been so blessed in business as far as just the referrals and word of mouth. And I can't leave this podcast without saying too that I was connected with someone this year, my first employee, who has been just a true godsend. Wow. And is, like, his dedication and attention to detail and just his reliability and trustworthiness, like, he's a unicorn of an employee that I know that many people don't ever get, especially being a new business owner. And he's helped me so much grow, and I'm just so extremely grateful for him. So if he listens to this, I hope he knows. And he does. He knows.
So it's honestly super duper impressive that you just started your business this year and have already been able to hire an employee. That's incredible. Most people, that's not the case.
I have never hired an employee, and I've been in this business for 20 some years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's an intimidating process too. I know for me too, with the magazine and with the gym, like you want to be so careful about choosing the right person.
Yes,
because they're representing
your business.
Yeah,
and it's like.
So you did find a unicorn.
I found a unicorn of an employee, and like I said, I know at the heart of any business is in its workforce, and he's such a good representation of like the quality that I want to always uphold. And you know, there's various standards in our industry, but we thrive on customers being happy and something we put our name on, and that's what you'll get from us. And he's like, he cares about it so much too, and
that's awesome.
I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah.
So, definitely a blessing.
So I know kitchens are big for you, but do you also do bathrooms? Are there other kind of projects that you
absolutely.
take on?
So kitchens and bathrooms being primarily what we focus on. We just did a fireplace last week.
Oh, cool.
Refinished a fireplace. I do a lot of like built-ins, entertainment centers, like doing a huge closet coming up next week.
Wow.
You know, just bookcases. So anything building those and refinishing we can do. But I would say, like, you know, most of my business is from bathrooms and kitchens. And for any like realtors out there too, I know a lot of times, you know, kitchens are the focal point as far as what sells a house. And so to maximize profit, a lot of, you know, I come in, do the dirty work, make your cabinets look fantastic for a fraction of the cost, which only helps resale value. So
well, that's a great ROI.
Yeah,
getting your cabinets done.
Absolutely. And you'd be surprised too about how like it's not as expensive a lot of times as people. I mean, that's relative.
Yeah,
but
I know it's cheaper than taking them all out and putting new ones in.
Exactly. And if I always go into any. When I'm, you know, consulting with a customer, like I want to find the most cost-effective solution. I mean, what makes you happy, but also what's cost-effective. I don't want to go in and tear out all your cabinets and start over. If we can use your existing cabinetry and make them look new, then that's going to be best for your wallet, and that's what we'll do.
Do you work with general contractors?
We do. Okay. We do.
That was my question too. Like, if you know, because I feel like that can often be just the starting point, because then you're like, oh, I want to change my counters and my backsplash and my all the things.
Absolutely. So yes, I do work with other GCs, you know, for things like that, like your countertops or tile. Like I can't say Catie does cabinets, Catie doesn't lay tile, but I do know a few people that do a wonderful job and you know have the same kind of standards that I do in their work. So yes, I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
And where's your kind of, how far do you travel ideally?
You know, it varies. But I would say really right now, no more than 30 miles just because, you know, where I am as far as in my business. But I would usually Greensboro from Clemens is about as far out as I go that direction. And then towards Statesville, I will go. So it just depends on the job.
Yeah. And do you offer free estimates?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All the time.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, whether I come out and you go with me or not, at least I can leave your house. You have more information than you did before I came here.
Sure.
So, and if there's something I can't do or can't help you with, then I'm sure that I can connect you with someone that can, or, you know, that can find a solution to whatever problem you have. So.
What trends are you seeing lately? I'm sure you're still doing plenty of white cabinets, but is anybody kind of stepping out and doing any other fun colors?
Yeah, I see a lot of like the greens. Yeah, green is very popular, which I love. I love to do. If someone tells me they want purple cabinets, I'm like, heck yeah, because it's just so much more.
Let's do it.
It's so much more fun to spray a color. But I see a lot of greens and like natural wood tones, like whether that's shelving or other, like an island maybe being like a stain color. But greens, blues, I've done a black kitchen not too long ago.
That's awesome.
And it was, it's like one of those that I could never, just because, I wouldn't be able to keep up with that. But this was a single elderly lady, and she was very clean. So I was like, perfect for you. And it was awesome too, because you wouldn't think someone like her would go with like black cabinets.
Something black and moody.
It was awesome. But,
you didn't see the dead bodies in the basement.
Right. Yeah. Didn't see those. But no, obviously whites and grays are still very popular. A lot of like glass tile is becoming more of a trend, and maybe like different geometry in the tile. I'm seeing subway a lot still. I mean, I think
that's a classic.
Right.
Yeah.
Very timeless, but for like hexagon or penny tile.
Oh yeah, those are pretty.
So I like when people do something different, just because it makes it more fun for me.
Sure.
I will do white shaker all day long, but if you want to do some exotic color,
you want purple,
right? If you want purple, hit me up. But
so where can people see some pictures of your work?
So my Facebook page, Catie. So it's Catie with a C. So Catie, Catie Does Cabinets, and then on Instagram as well. I don't have a website right now, but we're working on that. But Instagram, Facebook, and you can check out my reviews too on Facebook, because that's
awesome.
I will say, as cheesy as it sounds, I tell everybody when I meet with them, like, I want to make sure that before I leave your house, like, you're 5-star happy. And if there's something you're not 5-star happy about, we're going to fix it until you can say you're 5-star happy.
I love that.
Because I don't care how big of a job it is or how much, like, the check doesn't matter to me. What matters to me, and with my love language being words of affirmation, like, is that review.
Yeah.
And getting that good review. And that means everything to me. So that's
how you get more business, for sure.
right.
Word of mouth.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Those reviews are key. Reviews kill me, though, when I was reading a review. I was looking at a restaurant to go to out of town, and this person left this like glowing review and then left them 4 stars. I'm like,
right. Like, why not just give them the extra star?
It's like the 5 stars, like, too perfect.
Right.
I'm like, oh my gosh, people are wild.
Yeah. Now, I admit, whenever I read reviews, because I'm a former travel agent, right? So I would always instruct my clients to ignore the 1s and ignore the 5s.
Right.
Stay 2, 3, 4.
Oh, okay.
Because
Definitely ignore the 1s, because those are probably some problem children.
Because people who do 5s generally are just throwing something out there. Maybe they were offered, hey, if you give us 5 stars, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But if you do a 4, 3, or a 2, then you put some thought into why that is.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
And
with
you have
traveling,
and you have a true critique. If you have a 1, you go, well, it rained the whole time. Like
Right.
they had anything to do with that.
Right.
But
I think a 2-star review would hurt my feelings worse than a 1-star. Honestly, if someone just gave me like 2 stars, it's like, ooh, that would hurt.
Yeah, that would be a little hard.
she was this close, but
Right.
I almost gave her 3, but not quite. Not quite.
She's below average, but not
So-
you. You are well above average, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh,
Well.
absolutely. So Catie, before we wrap things up, what other fitness goals do you have after your ultra marathon?
Oh man, I try not to get too far ahead of myself, because I find myself, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do next?
Yeah. Or do you enjoy the training part, or are you just all about the race day?
No, I enjoy doing hard stuff.
Yeah.
I do.
I respect that.
Yeah, I like to just see.
That's the
like,
athlete in you.
Yeah, and I think I've been through so much in my life and really dealt a lot of loss, and so it's just a way, I think, almost like a therapy for me to just go in, because I know to, like, this weekend I did my longest run, which was a 24-mile run, and like, to me, like three like years ago, that would have been a big deal, and like now it's just part of my training, like just going and running for 4.5 hours. So it gives me a sense of accomplishment, but I also like hope that it can inspire people that, like, really anybody can do this, whether you want to or not.
Yeah.
Is a different story, but anybody's capable of it.
Yeah, because I'm sitting here thinking, when this is done, I've got to walk down the hall, and I'm dreading that.
Yeah, but as far as goals, I want to do an Ironman at some point in time.
Yeah.
And I really want to. Next year, I think I'm going to go across the state on my bike. At least go from the mountains to the coast, and maybe one day do like the race across America.
Oh
I know
my
that's really
gosh.
big, but that would be
cool.
to go across the country on my bike would be like
insane.
The happiest I could ever be.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, I enjoy it. And I think the thing is, the truth is, like, you don't have to be, whether it's something physical or in business, like, it's not about being special. It's just about being what most people aren't. And that's consistent, determined, disciplined, not cutting corners, and just willing to work for it. And I think you can succeed in anything in life if you just have that mindset. It's like,
oh my gosh, girl, I could not agree more with all of that. It's so true. That is what sets people apart, is the consistency. And
absolutely. Just keep showing you on your muscle ups.
Yeah.
Like,
it took 14 and a half years, but we did it.
Well, but I'm saying, but it was just a little bit, and it's like how much you improve by just doing a little bit every day.
1% better every day.
And then it's not until you see that video, and then you're like, wow, that was just like, it's just anything in life. You just got to apply those concepts, and we'll be all right.
Well, that is going to make you a long-term successful business owner. I can tell you that.
I sure hope so.
Well, Catie, it was so much fun to have you on.
It was wonderful to finally meet you in person. And
I can't wait to
nice to meet you too.
Nice to meet you.
Can't wait to see your ultra marathon. You said it's in 3 weeks?
Yeah, October 26th.
Oh my gosh, you go, girl.
I'll be running for at least, I'd like to finish it in 8, but if I'm being realistic, 10 hours will probably take me.
I mean, the fact that you're doing it, period, is just
finishing is a win.
Insanely impressive. Yeah, insanely impressive. Well, y'all, be sure to go like Catie on Facebook, and you said Instagram too.
Instagram, yep.
Catie with a C. Catie Does Cabinets, which is perfect. The C alliteration. It's like you planned it.
My business name came from my Instagram handle.
I love it. Well, Catie, thank you so much for coming on. And as always, you can find Forsyth Mags on Instagram at Forsyth Mags and online. And if you enjoyed this episode, or if you've ever enjoyed an episode, we would love it so much if you would leave us a 5-star, not a 4, not a 3, not a 2, a 5-star review.
Definitely not a 1.
And that's a wrap for today. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
The views and opinions stated on this podcast are solely those of the contributors and not necessarily those of our distributors or hosting companies. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced without expressed written consent of Forsyth Magazines Incorporated. Ooh, that's a mouthful.